All right, David Harry here. So for anybody out there who hasn't got the time to watch through a very methodical video, here's the summary. The iPhone 15 in my testing cannot read any enclosure which has got a Gen 4 NVMe SSD inside of it, and it just doesn't seem to want to know anything that is USB 4 or Thunderbolt 4 USB 4. Okay, so that's basically the bottom line here. Now, for anybody who wants a bit more detail than just that, let me just give you the background before I jump through the tests here. And there will be 5 very methodical tests done here. So what I've done over the last week or so since having the iPhone 15, and in this instance, I've got the Pro Max, I've tested 9 different enclosures and 4 different NVMe SSDs that have been 2 Gen 3 and 2 Gen 4, and in every single combination within my testing, the iPhone will not see anything that's got a Gen 4 NVMe inside of it, and it will not see anything if the interface bus is USB 4. So that's basically the bottom line. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is go through a combination of 5 different enclosures and 2 different NVMe SSDs. So what I've got here are 3 pretty much like standard USB-C to NVMe enclosures here. These are 3 10 gigabit enclosures. So they're pretty much the normal type of enclosures people will be putting drives together with. Then what I've got here are 2 enclosures by Acasis. And what these are Thunderbolt 4 enclosures, which are also USB 4. So it's important to note here that these are USB 4. Now, on top of that, I have got a crucial P5, which is a 1 terabyte Gen 3 NVMe. And then I've got one of these, which is a Western Digital SN850X, which is a 4 terabyte Gen 4 NVMe. Then what I've got here are 3 different cables. I have got a 10 gigabit USB-C cable. I've got a 40 gigabit USB 4 cable, and I've also got a 40 gigabit per second Thunderbolt 4 cable. Now, just before I continue here, just a couple of quick things. I've used APFS for the formatting here. Now, it does not matter whether you do ExFAT or APFS for these things. Sorry, I just got a phone call. I should have put my phone on silent. Bottom line with that particular kind of methodology, doesn't matter whether it's ExFAT or APFS or a 1 or a 2 or a 4 terabyte sized NVMe. Okay, so that's the basic kind of background as to what I've been doing for just around a week now, or just over a week since I've received this iPhone 15 Pro Max. So what I'm going to do now is dive into this. There are 5 individual tests here, and there will be chapters and stuff like that. Then I will come back at the end and do a bit of a summary. Okay, so getting into this then, and what I'm going to try and do is do as much of this video in real time as possible, just so that you can see exactly what's going on here. Now, just before I do start, I'm using a case here on my iPhone by ESR, and this is like a really nice clear case, which is also really grippy as well. And it has got MagSafe compatibility here. In fact, this is Halo Lock as well on here, which is one of the ESR technologies, but this is MagSafe compatible. And it has got this camera guard system on it here, which is really good because if you place your phone down flat on its back on a surface like a table, it helps to protect the lenses, which is going to be really useful for me because that's exactly what I'll be doing, which is putting my phone flat down on its back on a table. Now, just to be clear, ESR are not sponsoring this video. I just have a really good relationship with ESR, and wherever possible, I plug their products in my videos. Okay, so let me just put the phone there. So the first enclosure I'm going to get onto is this one. Now, the thing is, this enclosure and one of the other enclosures, which are USB-C, I totally would not recommend them, and I'll explain why. So if I open this one up here, what happens is there's absolutely kind of like no thermal connection between the SSD that goes inside here, and then when you pop it back in there. Now, although this is really convenient because it is a toolless design, the thermal characteristics of this are, well, basically terrible. However, it is good, as it's got like a 10 gigabit connection on it and it does work. Okay, so what I will do first of all then is I will put in the P5, which is the Gen 3 drive. So let me just pop that in there and I'll just close it in. Also as well here, and I can't do the option of having any kind of like thermal solution on this because it doesn't come with one, but I won't be actually like setting any of these things up and like, you know, putting thermal pads on. The thing is, it won't matter for this test because the tests are going to be quick, so we're not going to be thermally throttling anything or anything like that, so it won't interfere with anything. It will just take far too long if I have to start applying thermal pads to every configuration here. Okay, so to start off with then, I'm just going to use the standard USB-C cable. I will not need to use the USB 4 or the Thunderbolt 4 cable for this one because this cable is going to be fine for this. So what I'm going to do is pop that in there, and then I will pop the other end into the phone here. Now I've already got the app open here for the or the Files app open. Now what we should see momentarily is, there we go, it's actually seen the drive straight away, and we can see the blue access light on there on the drive itself. Now don't forget, this is the P5 here, so this is the Gen 3 NVMe. And just so that we can see, if I go on here, I have got a let's see, this is a ProRes 422HQ 60 frames per second 4K file. So this file here is essentially just shy of 1800 megabits per second, and as we will see here, there is absolutely no problems playing that file live off the SSD. I mean, I can even go kind of scrolling through and stuff, and as we can see, it's very responsive. So as we can see there then, that one definitely is working. So what I'm going to do is just unplug the cable there, and then what I'm going to do is take the drive out. In fact, let me put the phone there. I will take the SSD out, put that to one side. Now I'm going to put in the 4 terabyte one here, and don't forget, this is a Gen 4 NVMe. So let me just do that. Now to start off with, I will use the same USB-C cable. Let me just pop this into the phone. I know this is all a little bit like, you know, random on the table, but you can see exactly what's going on. So there we go. Now what we'll see here is that that access light just carries on flashing. It doesn't settle, and it's just going to keep blinking away there like that. And as we will see, no SSD or drive or anything is popping up into the locations on the file app there. I mean, I could sit here for the next 2 days or 10,000 years, it's not going to show up. So as we can see immediately, a Gen 4 SSD just is not showing up here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just disconnect that cable. Now the first thing that I'll do after this one is go to a USB 4 cable. As we can see here, this is the 40 gigabits per second cable. So this is a USB 4 cable. Okay, so let me just pop that in there, and then I will pop the other end into the iPhone. Hold on, there we go. And then once again, we're going to start seeing this flashing. Now this will just carry on flashing, and again, we can give it like a million years, it's never going to see it. And as you can see here, it clearly isn't popping up in the drive list either. So what I'm going to do is just disconnect that. And then what I'm going to do is just go to the Thunderbolt 4 cable. Now, obviously, I'm using the different cables here just to rule out the possibility of the cables. So, you know, these are the only 3 types of cables we could possibly use: a standard C to C, you know, 10 gigabits cable, 40 gigabits USB 4 cable, and a 40 gigabits Thunderbolt 4 cable. And once again, with the Thunderbolt 4 cable, what we're going to see is that that will just carry on flashing. It won't stop flashing, and we will never see the drive pop up in the list. I'll give it just a few more seconds here, but like you'll see, it just will not appear. And this is strictly down to the fact that this is a Gen 4 NVMe SSD. So as you can see, nothing's going on there. So let me just undo that there. Okay, give me a second, I'll get the next enclosure. Okay, so onto the next enclosure here, and once again, I would not recommend this enclosure. Yes, it does work, but once again, this has got like thermal restrictions and stuff that I'm not happy with. So once again, it is toolless, so super easy to work with. You just pop the inside out like that. But once again, the thing with these ones, in fact, let me just put the SSD in and I will show you what I mean. So this is the P5 Gen 3 again. So let me just pop it in here. Right. So see these types of enclosures where, you know, you've got to go slipping things back in like that. Well, that in and out action like that, I mean, this one does come with thermal pads. However, if you put a thermal pad on there, right, and then if you start pushing it back in there, the thermal pad that's connected on there, I don't even know if it's going to connect with the case. And that whole rubbing it in and out thing, you know, it just isn't a good way to like have thermal connection and stuff like that. And that's the reason why I wouldn't recommend these first two enclosures. The Sabrent one that I will test in a minute, however, is something that I would totally recommend, and you'll see why. Okay, so what I'm going to do is connect this one with the USB to USB-C or USB-C to USB-C cable. So this is the 10 gigabits per second cable. Let me just pop it in there. And then we should quickly see that it will pop up. There we go, straight away. So there's that there. Sorry, there's the drive there. Again, I will just give a quick mess around with this file. As we can see, playing perfectly well. Let me just scroll through it. As we can see, scrolling through really fast there. I mean, it might pause for momentarily when it stops to play, but there we go. It's just scanning through the file properly. Now, once again, hold on. Once again, let me just remind you that this particular file is just a shade under 1800 megabits per second. So it is a really kind of like, you know, high bitrate file and absolutely no problems here. So what I'm going to do, let me just go back to the menu there. I will disconnect this, and then what I'm going to do now is pop in the Gen 4 SSD. So there's the Gen 3 out, and then I will just pop in the Gen 4. Another thing here as well, the actual size in memory or storage of these SSDs doesn't come into play here. The whole issue that I'm showing is just the fact that it's Gen 4 is the problem. Well, I mean, Gen 4 isn't a problem, but the iPhone's a problem with Gen 4. So, okay, there's the Gen 4 in. Now, let me just go back to the USB-C 10 gigabits cable here. I will pop this in. I think that, yeah, there's a bit of a blue light on the go inside there. I don't know if we're going to see it. It's not particularly bright, but nonetheless, it is not going to pop up in that list. You've seen just before how quickly the Gen 3 drive popped up into the list. So this Gen 4 version here isn't popping up whatsoever, as we can see. So let me just disconnect that. Now what I will do is go for the USB 4 cable. Hold on. So USB 4 cable, and once again I'm only testing the different cables just so that we can rule out certain things. Hold on. So there's the USB 4 cable in, and once again we will just see straight away, like, you know, it's just not going to pop up in the list. And, you know, no matter what the cable variation is, it doesn't assist it in any way. Now, don't forget, some of these cables would make a difference on a different type of setup, but just not on this, strictly because the iPhone just has problems with Gen 4 NVMe. So, as we can see, nothing's coming up there. Okay, so let me take that out. And then I'm just going to go to the Thunderbolt cable here. Once again, it's not going to show up, but I'm just being thorough about this so you can see exactly what's going on with the methodology here. Okay, so there's the Thunderbolt 4 cable. Once again, the blue light's on. I don't know if we can see that. I can just about see it. It's not particularly bright. But again, look, you know, it's not popping up. And as we've seen, when the Gen 3 one was in there, it just popped up pretty much straight away. So that's just not going to see that there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just pop over onto the next enclosure. Okay, so this is now the Sabrent enclosure. Now, the reason why I would totally recommend this one is I will show you why now. Let me just open this. What it is, I'm on a fixed like focus here, but hopefully we will see stuff. So there's a button on the side there. You just press the button in and the top opens right out like that. Now, part of this is plastic and stuff, but you know, it does have an aluminium alloy thing on the top here. There's a heatsink, but the important thing is here, and we will notice this as soon as I put the actual NVMe in. So let me just put that NVMe in there, and let me just lock it off. What it is with this one, the top just fastens down and presses right down, right? So none of this sliding things in and out. But also, although I've not taken it off there, there's actually, oh, actually, there we go. We can see there, that's got a thermal pad there, and that thermal pad does make contact to the SSD that's inside. And so obviously once it's pressed over, that is like all thermally connected really well. Now that's the reason why I would totally recommend the Sabrent one. All three of these USB-C types are all basically the same speed. There might be like, you know, a megabyte between them or something like that, but they are essentially the same, like electronically. It's just physically the Sabrent is really nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is pop the USB-C to USB-C 10 gigabits per second cable in. Another thing as well, I'm going to find the best possible solution to use with this Sabrent, or indeed I might, you know, if I find a better case, which I doubt it, I'll do a video about that as like the best solution for the actual iPhone. And when I say I doubt I'll find a better case, what I mean by that is I don't think I'll find anything that's going to be like any difference as far as speed is concerned, because we're already going to be at the limit of the iPhone with these things here. Okay, so there's the 10 gigabits C cable going in, and what there we go, straight away there we have it, P5. Okay, so let me get on there, and then let me just get onto the file. Once again, absolutely no problem whatsoever. Let me just scroll through the file. I mean, look at that. I mean, all of these first three are going to be identical as far as the access and stuff is concerned. It's just pretty much instantaneous, and then, you know, it's picking up dead fast, and it'll pick up dead fast now. There we go. Okay, so as we can see there, absolutely zero issues with this particular arrangement here. Now what I'm going to do is just disconnect that C cable there. I will take out the Gen 3 here, and I will swap that for the Gen 4. So there we go, there's the Gen 4 going on. Let me just lock it off there. I'll close this one over only because it is super easy to use anyway. Now let me just put the C cable back in, or the C to C 10 gigabits per second cable. If I fluff up a little bit here with what I'm describing, we all know exactly what it is that I'm using, so just give me a bit of leeway if I screw something up as I'm talking. Anyway, so that goes in, and yay, look at that, no drive. How cool is that? Now the other thing is here, there is an indicator that I didn't show you before, but that indicator does come on. It's out of focus, but you would see a light flashing there, or at least indicating if it was on. It was on with the Gen 3, I just didn't show you it, but I didn't have to show you it because you've seen that it was working anyway. But right now, nothing is indicating in any way whatsoever. So once again, not working. So let me pop out the 10 gigabits cable, and then let me go to the USB 4 40 gigabits per second cable. Let me just pop that in. Oh, my cables are all getting all twisted, a bit like me. Okay, once again, no drive popping up, and there is no light indicator on the side. I know this is out of focus, but you would see a light if it was there. Again, we could wait here for a zillion years and nothing's going to show up there ever. Okay, so let's get shut of that cable there. And then again, just for thoroughness and whatnot, I'll pop in the Thunderbolt 4 cable. Hold on, let me just get in here. And yeah, nothing's going to pop up in that list, and also that light is not indicating in any way whatsoever. Okay, yeah, I think that's all we need to see about that one there. So now let me move on to the cases enclosures here, which are all like the Thunderbolt 4 USB 4 enclosures. Okay, so moving on to these cases enclosures, and this is the TBU401E. Now this is something that I've covered in a number of other videos. This is an amazing enclosure, and I would absolutely recommend this in the correct environments. But unfortunately, this is not the correct environment. Now, just to be clear as well, this video is once again not sponsored by anyone, and it's not sponsored by Acasis. However, I have a really good working relationship with Acasis, and they do actually support my channel. So at any opportunity, I will push their products, or at least the ones that I'm really into, and this is one of them. Okay, so what I'm doing here is opening this one up. And let me get the Gen 3 first of all. So, actually, let me take the rubber stopper out there. Put the rubber stopper on the back of the drive. Sorry, SSD. SSD goes in, rubber stopper goes in. And then, let's see, the bottom goes back on. Oh yeah, for anybody who might have one of these as well, you'll see I've got like 4 little rubber feet on the bottom. That's not what comes with these. I've just put them on afterwards. It just helps it to stop sliding across tables, which if I have to say, if there's one thing that I'm not really into, is the fact that there is no rubber under the bottom of these to stop it from sliding. However, the drive itself is absolutely awesome, but not awesome here. And the reason why is because the iPhone's not awesome, right? It would appear that this awesome drive only wants to work with awesome products. Okay, so let me just plug this into the iPhone, and we're gonna see immediately that this Gen 3 won't show up. Right, so yeah, we've got a little bit of a flashing going on there on the cases, as you might be able to see there. Now that's just going to flash away for a while there. It might switch off or do something crazy. I don't know. There we go. It's switched off. But nonetheless, look at that. No drive. So what's going on here? Right, so far we've had like these much cheaper cases, which are basically like, you know, inferior to this one as far as the enclosure technology is concerned, but this one's not working. So what's that all about? Well, basically what this is all about is the fact that the iPhone just doesn't even like anything with Thunderbolt 4 on it, which is absolutely insane. So what you have to remember, this particular enclosure here is Thunderbolt 4 and USB 4. So whilst the iPhone isn't Thunderbolt, it should accept anything on USB, and this is USB 4 as well as Thunderbolt. This thing here, you can plug this into all kinds of things that don't have Thunderbolt on, and it's perfect. With this thing, it's not perfect because this isn't perfect. Anyway, Dave, shut up and get on. So what I'm going to do then is let me just pop the cables around here. Okay, so this is the 40 gigabits cable. Let's see what happens here. Maybe this one might work. Let's have a look. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh, there's a bit of flashing going on. Well, that looks like it's promising. Hold on a minute. Where's the drive? Where's the SSD? Oh, no, come on. Is that going to switch off in a second? Oh, it's flashing. Oh, it's flashing more. It's trying. Something's happening. The iPhone's defo talking to it in some way. Let's see. Green light flashing away. What's going on? iPhone doesn't want to know. Okay, well, let's give that one up as a bad idea. And let's go straight to the Thunderbolt 4 cable. Okay, so Thunderbolt 4 cable. Let's have a little look here. Let me just take the kink out the cable. Let me just pop that in there, and then let's see. Oh, look, there we go. This is looking promising once again. Flashing green light. So we should see this SSD pop up here in a second. What's happening? The green light's gone. Oh no, the iPhone doesn't want to see it. Oh, what a bummer. Right, what I'm going to do is just whiz this all out dead quick. Let me just flip over to the Gen 4. I mean, we've seen the Gen 3. We've got absolutely nowhere with it. So the Gen 4, I think we can hazard a good guess here that nothing's happening with this either. However, for the sake of being thorough about these things, let me do the whole boring process of trying all those. Hold on, let me just move this back here. I don't know what was on those files there. I might have to have actually blurred that out. I don't know what was on there. Have I got really weird stuff on my phone? Probably. Right, so Let me just get that there. So this is the Gen 4 now. Now, obviously, if the Gen 3 didn't work, is the Gen 4 going to work? I don't think so. Right, so let me just pop that in there. So this is the 10 gigabits cable. And, oh, look at that. It's promising. Oh, wait there. The light's solid. Solid light? Oh, maybe this time it's going to work. Oh, no, it's done a little flash. Oh, wait there. Something's being accessed. Oh. I wonder if that accessing is the drive going, no way, iPhone, what are you trying to do? Or is it the iPhone going, who are you? Can I talk to you? Oh, apparently not. Okay, right, so let's take that 10 gigabits one out. 40 gigabits one. Now, if anybody out there is thinking to themselves, I just sound like I'm losing hope here and just turning into a complete idiot. I mean, I am an idiot anyway, but yes, I am losing complete hope here, but I'm going to have to persevere with all this just to be thorough about it. Once again, we've got a green light there. It's gone solid, but, you know, nothing's happening here, as we can see. This is boring. Okay, let's just get rid of that one, because that definitely didn't work. And then let's go straight to the Thunderbolt 4 cable as our last option. Please, Thunderbolt 4, help me, help me. Let's see. Boom, there we go. Hey, green light on the go, but I'm not going to build my hopes up this time because I've already learned that that one's just going to come back and slap me in the face. Ugh. What a boring, damp squid that one is. As we can see, Thunderbolt 4 didn't work either. Now let me swap over to the last and final enclosure. Okay, final enclosure. Once again, a cases. This is the TBU 405 M1 Pro. Did I get that right? TBU 405 Pro M1. Okay, there's a difference. Right, with this one here as well, this one's super awesome. It's basically like, it's not really an upgraded version of this one. It's just a different enclosure, but this one's got a fan in and stuff, and it's got more of a mass on it as well. So this is really good for Gen 4 NVMEs because Gen 4 NVMEs can generate tons of heat. Now, this one will not thermal throttle or anything like that, but this one, if you get something that goes too hot, has got a fan that you can switch on. And underneath as well, this one's got rubber feet. Yay! Which is really cool. Anyways, it stops it from sliding all over your table, which is dead useful. Hold on. So let me just pop that open. Once again, it's completely toolless. Now, where's me? Let's see. There's me Gen 3 first of all. Let me get the rubber stopper out there. Let me get the rubber stopper on there. And then pop the Gen 3 in. Hurry up, Dave. It's not like you haven't done this a million times before. Right, so let me just get that on there. Okay. And then first thing is the C cable. Now, this one might work though, mightn't it? Because this is technically a different enclosure. Maybe there's something magic in here that the iPhone likes. Let's see. Hold on. Flashing light. It's looking promising. No SSD popping up. What's that all about? Anyway, there is something magical about this enclosure. However, the iPhone doesn't agree with that. So the iPhone's going, no, you're not magical at all. I'm not looking at you. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Let's go straight to the 40 megabits USB 4 cable. Once again, this is just boring crap, obviously. But, you know, I've got to do this for the sake of thoroughness. Right, so there we go. 40 gigabits USB-C 4 cable. Oh, boring. Flashing light and nobody's home. Okay, look, I'll just get past this one. We know it's not going to pop up in the list. Okay, there we go. And then let me get on to the Thunderbolt 4 cable. And don't worry, you folks out there who have persevered so far with this video. There's only probably a couple of more minutes to go for the drive elements and the enclosure elements to the video. Okay. Lights flashing, no one's home. In fact, weirdly, let's just test something here. Hold on. Ah, check this out. Look at, listen. That's the fan, right? So the weird thing here is there's obviously enough fan to make the there's enough power to make the fan work. So there's definitely some restriction going on here where this thing doesn't want to see any kind of like, you know, SSDs within certain enclosures, and it definitely won't see Gen 4 in anything. Anyway, let me switch that fan off. Let me just disconnect that, and then let me just pop open this case or this enclosure. We get the rubber stopper off there. Let me get rid of the Gen 3. Let's go into the Gen 4. Do you know what? It's probably going to be easier if I put the SSD in first and then put the rubber stopper on. Oh, I'm a freaking genius. Actually, saying that, I should have looked at my own tutorial. Because this is exactly how I would do it in my other tutorials. Oh, why couldn't I remember to do that? Right, here we go. So let's pop that in there. So Gen 4, I mean, obviously the Gen 3 didn't work. There's no way. And what it is, I think the iPhone just doesn't like the chipset. It knows. The iPhone knows exactly what's going on in there. It just doesn't want to know. Okay, and I will get to that in my summary as well. Okay, so there we go. So this is the 10 gigabits cable. Let's see. Once again, little flashy light, you know, but no one's home. Oh, how sad is that? No drive. Okay, fine. Boring, but we're nearly at the end of it. Hold on, where are we? USB 4 cable. Okay, and once again, you know, I know this all seems a little bit like, you know, overdone and stuff, but I'm just being mega thorough and I'm doing it in real time. I'm obviously losing patience right now, so, you know, I could really, you know, I can totally understand if anybody out there is still watching the videos, totally lost patience as well. Okay, so there we go. Green light, whether it's flashing or staying solid is not an indicator of anything right now, because the phone just doesn't want to play ball with anything. Okay, no access, blah, 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 road closed, go home. Right, last thing then. So here is the Thunderbolt 4 cable. Hold on, no, it's not. That's the 10 gigabits cable, David. What are you doing? Have you ever done this before? Right, so there we go. Thunderbolt 4, 40 gigabits per second cable, and boom, there we go. Lights on, green for go. Yay, maybe the iPhone's colorblind. Oh no, doesn't know green, it thinks it's red, so it says stop. Okay, as we can see there, that definitely concludes this part of the video, so let me just jump to my end summary. Okay, so to an end summary, and I will try and keep this short because I think those tests have kind of proven the point to what I'm making out here, and that basically is nothing that I have used that has got a Gen 4 NVMe inside of it will work with these iPhone 15s, and also USB 4 enclosures just seem to be a complete no-no, regardless of whether it's a Gen 3 or a Gen 4 NVMe that's inside of them. Now, the thing is, like I said at the outset, I've actually done this with either 8 or 9 different enclosures now and 4 different NVMe drives. 2 were Gen 4 and 2 were Gen 3, and the exact same thing is repeatable across all of them. So I'm pretty much safe here in saying, at least for myself, that the results stand. Gen 4s just don't work, and USB 4 is a complete no-no as well, as far as the iPhone 15 is concerned. Now, what I would be interested in, though, is if anybody out there can point me towards any video evidence which is contrary to what I've been doing here. So as a, for instance, say, a Gen 4 NVMe SSD being used, say, in a USB 4 enclosure, something like that. Now, if someone can show me something like that working with proper proof, I'd be very interested. I'm going to say proper proof. I'm not just talking about some like random Reddit comments which has got absolutely no evidence to support it, but basically something as methodical as what I've just been doing here. Yeah, I'd be very interested in that, only because as far as I can see, I think my results are pretty much, you know, crystal clear, and I think this is the baseline for what's going on. Now, the one thing that I'm definitely going to be doing fairly soon is to come up with a recommendation for a good SSD for the 15 here, which is actually fast with the 15, but also fast to offload onto, say, a computer or something like that. Now, so far, the combination of this Sabrent enclosure and also the crucial P5 here, these are a really good combination. I've not done the exhaustive testing for the bit rates on these, but these definitely do work together as a good combination. Like I was saying in the video, I've got these other 2 USB-C enclosures to NVMe here, but you know, they're not really that good thermally, whereas the Sabrent actually has got some, like, you know, decent, like, you know, thermal connectivity inside of it and stuff like that. So yeah, those two things there, I would definitely kind of like say, yeah, that's a good starting point. However, as soon as I find the thing where I go, okay, this is the one where the speeds are, like, you know, as best as they can be, but without spending too much money and stuff, then I will do a video about that. Now, unfortunately, in these videos that I've been doing with the iPhone 15, the two Acasis boxes here just don't work no matter what's inside them. Now, the unfortunate thing about that is that these will give you the fastest possible external storage solution on USB or Thunderbolt 4 when paired up with the SN850X here. Now, that could be a 4TB, 2TB, or 1TB. It doesn't matter. The combination of these Western Digital NVMe Gen4 SSDs with either of these two enclosures will net you the fastest possible Thunderbolt 4 or USB 4 drives that you can put together. So these are absolutely amazing, and I've already done videos about this one, and I'm going to do one about this one, so there'll be links to the one I've already done somewhere anyway, so go and check that out and you'll see just how good that combination is. But the sad thing here is simply this: I've already got myself a couple of really good, like, external storage solutions which work perfectly on, like, Windows PCs and also Mac PCs, but unfortunately I can't use them on the iPhone 15, which means then, like, you know, they're taken out of the equation as far as my post-production workflow is concerned. Anyways, I'm going to cut myself short there because I could feel myself drifting into, like, slagging off the iPhone, and believe you me, it's a fantastic phone. It does a lot of cool stuff, but there are certain things about it which are not so cool, and also the temperatures are not cool as well. A video soon about how this thing almost burns itself to death when you do certain things like gaming on it. It just completely goes haywire and completely messes everything up. It's unbelievable. Anyways, there will be Amazon links to some of the stuff that I've used in the video, but just remember, the Acasis stuff and the Western Digital stuff here are not good for the iPhone, but they are awesome for everything else. And you know, the Sabrent enclosure, you may just want to jump ahead and grab yourself one of those and start pairing that up with other Gen 3 NVMe SSDs. I'm quite sure you'll have a great time with that. But I will also, like I say, come up with a recommendation as soon as possible for the most cost-effective and fastest version of an external drive, which is going to be ace for the 15, but also allows you to work quickly on, like, you know, a Windows or a Mac PC. And if you've liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you super liked the video, then please consider subscribing to my channel and getting all over that bell notification icon thing. And there will also be a lot more videos coming up to do with the iPhone 15, loads of different types of test things and, like, workflow stuff and things like that. Also, there'll be a whole bunch of stuff coming up to do with my iPad Pro stuff and also Mac stuff, as well as other tech things as well. Anyways, I'm dead boring, so I'm going to get off. I'm David Harry. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye now.